As part of our series on pies, today we are presenting a zero carb pie crust. What's great about this pie crust is that it's got a great texture in that it's kind of like a whole wheat biscuit or cracker, and you can use it for a runny kind of savory filling if you like. This is how the pie looks. It is quite solid, very sturdy, and yeah, like I said, it's kind of like a cracker or a biscuit. In our series, we have got 2 savory pie crusts, 1 sweet pie crust, we've got a biscuit topping, and we've got a non-keto pie crust that you can freeze. It's really good. I learned how to bake on it, so forgetting an ingredient here and there, it'll still work out great. Why we are putting that pie crust in is because keto ingredients are expensive, and sometimes your kids want to eat your keto pie, or you need to bake for school. It's great to have as a make ahead freezer crust, so you can just make your fillings. In fact, for all of them, right? You can just make your fillings and choose the pie crust that you want. And why not grab a non-keto pie crust so you can save on your ingredients and your kids or your family can still have the same pie as you. Here are the 2 savory pie crusts we are doing, and today we're doing just the recipe for this one. So you can just grab a recipe on the go in the future when you want to make a pie. You see something that's non-keto, you can just have a zero carb pie crust. Isn't that great? If you want to see how we use this pie crust in a completed pie, click on this link now. It's just basically a beef, cheese and tomato pie, and it's yum. Do stay tuned for our next video. This is a beautiful pie crust, and we'll talk about the differences between the 2 pie crusts. And now we're going to get straight into the recipe. Let's now make the zero carb pie crust. It's so quick and easy. We will literally be throwing all the ingredients into the bowl, then mixing either in the stand mix like I am, or you can mix it by hand. To a bowl, add 3/4 of a cup or 105 grams of almond flour, 1/4 cup or 35 grams of coconut flour, 1/4 cup or 50 grams of flax seeds, and here you can see I just ground mine to get a finer texture because I only had seeds on hand. You can also use 1/4 cup of sesame seeds if you don't have flax seeds, but I used flax seeds to help achieve the zero carb count. Next, add 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk powder, 1 pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 large egg at room temperature, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and our last ingredient is 1/4 cup of water. Mix that on speed 2 or 4 using the pedal attachment until the dough comes together. We need to set the oven now to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius and prepare the pan. For a moment, let's talk about your options for the baking pan. I'm going to show you 3. If you're using a 9-inch springform pan or a pie dish, grease the base and the sides with olive oil, then line the base with parchment or baking paper. If you're making pies to freeze in bulk, you will need to use these aluminum disposable ones. I chose these deep dish ones from the dollar store, and all you need to do is grease the base and the sides with olive oil. We are going to work the dough now, and when you do, grease your hands with olive oil so the dough doesn't stick to your hands, and it will make the dough easier to work with. The dough will feel very much like Play-Doh. To roll out the dough, place the dough between 2 pieces of parchment or baking paper, and I just oiled it first, but this is only optional. Then place over the dish and let the dough take the shape of the dish. Press the dough into the dish and you will need a little patience trying to get the dough to be even on all sides. I used a flat surface, aka my measuring cup, coated in olive oil to get an even thickness for my crust, and then when I was happy with the evenness of the sides, I cut the edge just to get a very neat looking pie. If you can't be bothered with rolling it out, or you don't have a rolling pin, you can break it up in the pan and just work your way through, flattening it like I'm showing you here. I found it did take me longer. Still, do use a flat surface coated in olive oil to get an even thickness for the crust, and when you're happy with the sides, cut an even edge just to get a neat looking pie. Regardless of the method you choose, our last step would be to dock the base of the pie so you can let the pie breathe in the oven. Then bake the pie for 15 minutes. When you take it out of the oven, you can fill it immediately as the crust is not fussy at all. Well, I do hope you found this video useful and get to make a 0-carb pie crust for pie season. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe and be well.